we've really put a ton of effort in this past year in building for our people is this community on the back end that now when you give them a place to meet, you give them education to learn, but now we give them opportunities to invest. So we compress all the problems that people have in the self-directed industry is they aren't looking for something. Now they've got everything in front of them. So, we only want to help people get to where they want to go faster and not get in the way. So we're not advisors. We're just more like coaches to say, hey, here's a tool that you can use to take control. And then now here's a place for you to now go find your opportunities and put that money to work really fast without having to scratch your head and be sitting on cash for, 2 or 3 years, still not having picked your deal yet.
Welcome to the Cashflow Fight Club podcast. In the Champions Corner edition, I'm Mike Deaton, and together with Lydia, my co-host in life, business, and this podcast, we're taking you into the training room, deep in the dojo, sharing the secrets of what it takes to forge a champion. We're digging deep into mindset mastery, high-performance habits, best-in-class behaviors, and bringing you the tips and techniques that maximize human potential, brought to you from some of the best in the business.
So grab your buds and your seat, hit subscribe, and get ready to up your game. Let's do the show.
Let's do it. Retirement plans can be messy, confusing, and very inflexible. Today, we're talking to Parker Pursell, CEO of eQRP, which stands for Enhanced Qualified Retirement Plan. This is a vehicle that allows you to be in control of your own retirement funds. You can use them to invest in so many other assets than you can in a traditional 401k or retirement plan. This is a topic that really has a huge impact on your financial planning, your retirement planning, and how well you can grow your finances. This is really an invaluable conversation and one I think you're really going to enjoy. And I encourage you to listen in and check out Parker Pursell and the eQRP. Welcome to the Cashflow Fight Club podcast. Okay, Parker Pursell, welcome to the Cashflow Fight Club podcast. We're excited to have you on and talk all things eQRP.
Thank you for having me on. Appreciate you guys.
Yeah, you bet. So I thought we'd just kick it off. You can share a little bit about your backstory and how you got to be a part of the eQRP team, but and not just part of, but leading it. Give us kind of your story, how you got to where you are.
Yeah, so I'm from Alabama. If anybody listening, you can tell there's probably a little drawl in my voice. The furthest I've ventured out in terms of living is down in Pensacola, Florida. Which I spent some time down there working for Chick-fil-A. But my family's rooted just in an entrepreneurial environment. We were in agriculture, ran a fertilizer business for 110 years, and moved our whole operation out to our family farm, which is about 45 minutes south of where I live. So my whole world that I know growing up was really just watching my dad and granddad build this business from the ground up. What I came to learn is really the fundamental values of what it takes to be an entrepreneur. Like as a beneficiary, I think the thing that a lot of people forget is, I never had been at a place where I would stroke the check, right? Like being the person where all the risk is falling on me, but I got to live that under my dad and my granddad and watch them make these emotional decisions that, kept the lights on or had to pivot and do things differently and be creative. So that was my environment growing up and taught me hard work. Growing up on a farm, as you could imagine, it's pretty isolated out there. So the discipline was, not reported in terms of what my parents did when I got in trouble, but all beneficial for me. And so I went to Auburn University, graduated 2013, the degree in marketing, went and worked for Chick-fil-A for about 3 years, thought I was going to go be an operator. And that was my path that I thought that was going to take me to kind of where I wanted to go.
Like a franchise operator?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. And so from there, when we sold our family business back in 2006, so kind of how the story's going to go, it's going to go here and then back up a little bit, but I'll tie it all together. So when we sold the business in 2006, there was a big windfall, which was awesome right before 2008 happened, right? I lived it, but not as I had anything at stake like my dad or other people did. And so for about 10 years, we are trying to kind of figure out what we were going to do next. We had all this property. We had a golf course that we had built as a selling arm for our fertilizer. That's a story within itself. But we had all these assets out there that we didn't want to go to waste. And so my dad's like a big visionary. And as we were walking through this kind of next steps, he, in his grand way, laid out a big vision. I remember we had the master plans kind of laid out, and I saw the art and the hotel and all these different things that we were going to step into hospitality and build a resort. And so being at Chick-fil-A, I was like, well, I can take one of two routes. I can go to, chase my dream, becoming an operator, or I can come back and help my dad build this thing. And so I really just kind of put it before God and was like, hey, bless it or kill it, like with Chick-fil-A. And so I just ran after that 110%, and the door was shut. And I was like, all right, cool. I'm going to go back and help my dad with this. And so for about 4 years, I went back there and helped my father get this hotel up and running, worked a number of different jobs, but really it was like whatever they needed me to do. And so 2020 hit, as you're very well aware. I'm sure y'all were affected a number of different ways. And anybody listening to the show, everybody has their own story. And I kind of got to this point where I'd hit a ceiling at the family business on some level. We were obviously making changes. I remember sitting in the room with our GM and assistant GM being like, all right, like we're going to have to like comb through, our business and make some really hard decisions. And I felt like I'd hit a ceiling. And so I was like, I'm just going to take a chance on myself. I don't have anything figured out where I'm going to go, what I'm going to do, but I knew decisions had to be made. And if I was feeling this way of like, I need to somehow fill this gap with something else, whether it be another experience. I was like, I'm just going to go take a chance on myself. And so stepped out in unemployment for about 8 months and went and pressure washed, cut grass, really just got to kind of figure it all out. And then I came across the eQRP, and what was cool is that I had no idea what it was. Like, truthfully, I didn't know what retirement accounts, I knew what retirement accounts were, didn't know how they worked. And I really didn't understand how money worked. And I think that was the biggest gap for me that I was trying to figure out. Like, I'd watched my father and granddad build this empire in this business, but like, there's this thing where I was like, something's not connecting. Like, I thought that it was just going to be working hard, right? And going and just eventually making enough money in a W-2 environment that kind of puts you in this place. So I was like, no, ownership and this level of education, kind of like in creativity with money, really kind of unlocks a lot of superpowers for you to go and do and free your time up. And so coming here to eQRP, it was really the vision that was cast to break financial shackles of people. And I kind of saw myself as like, well, like this may be a good place for me to learn how to do the thing. Although I didn't really still understand coming in what it was we were doing. I was just like, these people are really cool. I like what they're about. I like the vision and the mission. I said, I want to come in and just help build something because I can't be put in a box. I like to do something, but not be limited to what that was. And so put my head down and grinded for about 3 years, and then got the opportunity to lead the company. And, my life has changed tremendously because of it. And I just view the world in a whole different way in regards to money and how it works. And it's cool because I really feel like my story embodies a lot of people that come in and have the same questions. I just happen to come in through employment to the eQRP when people come in looking to learn and take these resources that they have and apply it in a different way. And so I'm on a learning journey just like everyone else is. And I think that's what's fun is I'm very curious the way that I look at the world of finance and money and all the things that are happening out there. And so, I have an amazing team that I get to work with every single day. And it's really a blessing and a joy. And I can't imagine being anywhere else right now. So I'm very, very fortunate to be where I'm at.
That's awesome. Great story. I'm intrigued by your willingness to kind of let life unfold and speak to you and direct you and all this stuff. Have you had that since kind of an early age, or is that something cultivated over time? Or
yeah, so being a person of faith, like that's very fundamental to who I am. And just during that time, for me, it was just more a matter of peace. Like that's really what I listened to is like, in all my prayers that I was, talking to God about, I was like, just give me peace. Like things are unclear, they're murky, but I know that I'm feeling this like restlessness in my heart to go and do something else. And I didn't know what it was, but it's all, the story's a lot clearer when you look back versus looking forward. And so now I can like see all these different places where things were working, and obviously where I'm at now, but also there's things happening in the future that are kind of developing and unfolding, even within my family, where I'm just like it makes sense that I ended up here, because there's things that are going to happen down the road that the rest of my family isn't a knock. It's the reality. Like, they don't understand some of these things. And me being in this community, in this environment, I just have been able to understand business structures and negotiations and deals and how all these things play together. And I don't know, for me, I just listen to that piece in my heart when I'm making decisions and keep it simple.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing.
Yes.
It's hard to practice a lot of times, especially if you're in the storm of COVID or job loss or whatever it is. But yeah, and so that's why I was curious, because it's a skill of sorts to put into practice in the moment.
Yeah, and I think you got to look back and know that I call them like altar moments in life. Like, I can look back specifically in times in my life where I was faced with a decision I had to make, although unclear, and then I was, God took care of me on the other side. So although it may seem unclear now with whatever the thing is, I can always look back and be like, I've been taken care of at every step of the way. So I shouldn't change the way that I approach the next thing as it comes. So still doesn't take away the feeling. I'm not saying I'm 100% like,
Zen, all
but
that jazz.
yeah, just, that's just for me though.
It's faith. It's faith at its core, right? Faith that something is there, that it's going to work out, that the path that unfolds is the path that's meant to be.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Yeah, love that.
I think it's a great moment to ask. So Parker, I am originally from Romania. I moved to US in 2011, and I met Mike there. He came with an expat contract. But anyway, long story short, I don't know anything about retirement accounts here in US. I let Mike handle all of that. But the reason I'm asking is, please take me back to basics. Like, what is eQRP, and why would people need to know about it?
Yeah, so the company is really birthed from our founder, Damian Lupo, and his father, really kind of the end of his father's life, being a part of a system that promised him all these different things that he would have. And by the time he got to the end, he really had nothing to show for it, right? Thought he was going to have all this time to do all these things with this money that was going to be there. And the reality was that it wasn't. And so for Damian, he felt slighted in a sense when he lost his father, because he's like, man, he worked his whole life doing this thing, putting all this money away to enjoy a life promised to him in the future, and he didn't even get to do it. Like, he's just like, it's not right to be able to do that. So what did he do? Well, he went, and as any entrepreneur does, you see a problem, you go find a solution. And so for him, he's like, well, I'm just going to create a thing for myself to help people take back control over their lives. Really, at the core of it, that's what money does for us, right? It's a resource that gives us time to be able to spend with those that we love and care about. And then the compression of that money towards things that frees more of our time, well, that's what we're all shooting for. And so, retirement is just really a word that I think has been pushed over the course of time to us. And I think over the past few years, we can start to see this word unravel a little bit, because the traditional system in of itself is starting to break on a lot of different levels. And so, for the eQRP in particular, it stands for Enhanced Qualified Retirement Plan. So it's built on a 401k platform, and the nature of self-directed in a traditional sense really doesn't take you outside the confines of other than just picking your own stocks and mutual funds. Like, that's what they'll say. Well, you can self-direct, but when you ask it, you're saying, I want to put this in a multifamily deal or a land deal or private lending or all these different options. And that's not offered to you in a traditional system. So what Damian said is, like, people should have the right to choose the thing that they want that gives them the most confidence for their future. Mm-hmm. Thus how the eQRP was born, which is founded really on control and support. Like, you first get the tool, but then, as the company's grown, we wanted to put people in the background to help support them and give them confidence that they're doing it right. But what we've learned now is that there's some other components of that when people walk in, is that they have maybe an opportunity they're looking for to invest in. So y'all may have a deal that, is going to give, greater returns. And what we're finding is the private sector traditionally outperforms the stock market, even in downturns, because you have these unique options to go put your money to work. But what we found is that good investors need a place to network. So they need people to be able to talk to. They need education, just like you guys, right? Y'all are constantly learning and informing yourselves on, what's happening out there, different ways to use your money. But then lastly, you need opportunities. And so for us, what we've really put a ton of effort in this past year in building for our people is this community on the back end that now when you give them a place to meet, you give them education to learn, but now we give them opportunities to invest. So we compress all the problems that people have in the self-directed industry is they aren't looking for something. Now they've got everything in front of them. So, we only want to help people get to where they want to go faster and not get in the way. So we're not advisors. We're just more like coaches to say, hey, here's a tool that you can use to take control. And then now here's a place for you to now go find your opportunities and put that money to work really fast without having to scratch your head and be sitting on cash for, 2 or 3 years, still not having picked your deal yet.
That's great. Yeah, I love the ecosystem there that comes around, as you call it, the tool. So really brilliant setup. We had the pleasure of meeting Damien, 2018 maybe. I don't remember where he was speaking at.
Damien's a Rolling Stone. There's no telling where you met him because he's all over the place.
Yeah, please say hi next time you speak to him, though. We're he was really good guy that we sat and had a beer and chatted for a while about things. Nice. But I wasn't aware about his dad and the Genesis story there. So that's good to hear.
Yeah.
Did you have a?
No, I just wanted to say that I think it's wonderful that you guys give also opportunities for people, because I would guess a lot of people don't know where to invest and they need advice. And I think it's wonderful that you also offer that.
Yeah. And that's the problem that we've come to learn. Like, we're not a legacy-based company. So like every day that we come in here, we're showing up for our members asking like, what else do they need to help them feel more confident about their financial future. We really just meet people via way of like their retirement funds, but it opens up the whole door to their financial life, right? Because it's not just like retirement money, it's your whole scope. Like when you think retirement, you're thinking, oh, I've got this pool here, I got this other pool here, and it all speaks together. So for us, what we wanted to do was say, okay, well, our people are asking for more. And especially in an environment like this, like people need to look at more deals to feel comfortable about what it is they want to do. And so now we've opened up our community to syndicators to be able to come in and then place their deals in front of our members, because we want to give them every opportunity to put their money to work in a thing that makes the most sense for them and not limit them on what that could be. So we're not in a way like promoting deals, saying, hey, we vetted, done all the due diligence. Like that's part of the education, right? Like people learn how to be good investors by combing through the deals and asking questions and, talking with people like yourselves that have the opportunities. But they would never know that had they not been in our ecosystem and known about some of these other creative things they could do. They may hear multifamily and they think that's all that they can do. They're not exposed to maybe land or, like I said, private lending or, single family. There's so many different things you can do, right? But that's what we're trying to do, is help compress all that and get them in a place where they can move fast.
Yeah, that's great that you guys have your ear to the ground and are listening, because there are exactly those types of barriers, or people, you get the keys to your high-powered sports car, but you don't necessarily know where to take it or how to maintain it or things like that. So it's good to do all that. Back a little bit to basics. So enhanced qualified retirement plan. Who is this for and who is it not for? Or who can anybody sign up for one of these, or do you have to be a business owner, or kind of how does that work?
Yeah, so the 401k is typically sponsored by business activity that would subject you to self-employment income. So, excuse me, you don't have to be generating income per se. And I speak in metaphors and extremes, so it helps people understand. So if I was on TikTok, like trying to generate money by doing some dances or something, like that would be business activity that would subject me to potential sponsorship money or ad revenue, whatever the thing is. If that's what I'm trying to do to promote myself as a content creator, like that is business activity that if I got paid, I could then put into a plan like this, right? So if you're out there, you're a contractor, a business owner in some sense, like whatever you may be doing that generates income would qualify you for this. But there's no reason why anybody can't be a part of it, because not all the tools are created equal. So just to give some contrast here, like a self-directed IRA, which is what most people are familiar with, it's a retail-based product. So basically, if you're breathing and you have a job, you can have one. Now, obviously, the contribution limits are a lot lower. There's a lot of friction involved with self-directed IRAs because you got to ask permission, you got to wait. But timing's everything with these deals. So like if you guys had an opportunity for me and you're like, hey, Parker, like, I've got one more spot available, but we're probably going to close it tomorrow. I just wanted to see if you were interested in investing. Well, because of me having an eQRP, I could say, awesome, yeah. And I could wire you 50 grand or whatever, just like that. I wouldn't have to ask permission. So for people that are self-responsible, right, that are looking to move quickly, not have friction get in the way, that's typically who the eQRP is for. And, if you're looking for somebody to do everything for you, excuse me, in terms of, kind of like a financial advisor per se, they're like a do it for you type service.
Right.
We're more of a do it with you because there is an element to taking total control and empowering people. Like in empowerment, it takes action. And so we want to help people, give them all the things they need to take action and feel confident. So whenever the next deal comes across, they feel way more confident to be able to say yes to the decision instead of like waiting to get more information or whatever the thing may be, because we've helped get them to a place to where they can move faster, even with their knowledge.
Okay. So it sounds like kind of anybody can set up one of these. I guess let's call it the investments that you make with the money, however, need to be passive. They can't, like, we have a land business. It makes incredible returns on our margins, but we actively manage it. We are the co-founders. We have our hands in the business. We can't put those deals in our QRP because we're self-managing the deals, right? So we would need to invest in somebody else's investment or business or stocks and bonds or however we want to do
Correct.
it. But, right. Okay.
Yeah, so it's got to be passive in nature. So I always like to say it's an arm's length distance, and that's just a traditional rule with self-directed retirement accounts. But as much as that would be awesome to be able to take all that money and funnel it in your own deals, for whatever reason, it's like the government can insider trade, but you can't like put your money into your own work. Like I don't really get that, but whatever.
Because you're not making the rules.
Yeah, correct.
That's good stuff. Okay. Yeah. So you touched on a little bit other products. So 401ks, self-directed IRAs. We don't have to get into like specifics because I think those maybe differ a little bit, but some of the differentiation between those products, or maybe as they pertain to eQRP, but you talked about higher contribution limits. I mean, that's great, right? I mean, the 401k limits are, once you get to a certain personal income level, they're pretty insignificant or pretty small in terms of those kind of things. So are there other benefits to call out for QRP over other investment vehicles?
Yeah, I think just the two main things as an alternative investor that's looking to use a vehicle like this is first that frictionless, the tool that you use can really have an impact on your experience. So the reason we preach 401ks is because a lot less friction involved. You have total checkbook control. You don't have to ask permission. You can send your money, as quick as an opportunity is put in front of you, which is great. Secondly, excuse me, when you're looking at investing in deals that have debt associated with it, the IRA companies won't tell you this. So try to minimize it just because, they're also peddling a product. But the way the tax code's written is that if you take on debt in a deal, and you're using an IRA, well, you're going to be subject to paying a tax called the UDFI triggered UBIT tax. Without boring you guys, essentially what it says is that, let's say you invest in a real estate deal that takes on 80% debt. Well, if you're in an IRA, you're going to pay the equal percentage of profits to debt. So if 80% of debt's taken on, 80% of your profits are then going to be subject to paying up to 37% tax on that. So I think we had a little glitch here. Sorry about that.
Picking up your hand motions.
Yeah, I gotta stop doing all the thumb stuff. But you'll be paying up to 37% tax on those profits. So the way I look at it is, okay, well, you can do both things with the tool, but what's going to actually give you more firepower to get to where you want to go quicker? So you either take all those profits and then give it to Uncle Sam, or if you're in a 401k vehicle, then you just recoup that and then put it to work in your next deal in perpetuity. So you're looking at significant financial impact just because of the tool. And if you don't know, well, then you don't know until you don't know. So that's why we preach the 401k vehicle, because it just serves the alternative investor a lot better because of the friction and then the tax implications that are there. It's a way better experience.
So you touch on something that I'm not sure we've made clear to the audience, but the eQRP vehicle can be set up with different retirement plan structures, right? So you mentioned the 401k as one option. I guess it can have another type of account set up under this eQRP umbrella.
Yeah, so what we do is, because we build it on a 401k structure, right? You can pull in traditional IRAs, roll over old 401ks, and umbrella it up under this self-directed 401k vehicle. So that's who we are as a community. What we're founded on is the 401k platform. Mm-hmm. We aren't a custodian, therefore we couldn't peddle IRAs to people, but we can help broker, because people want to come in and work with us because of the community piece. So they will broker IRAs through us to be able to be a part of our community, get the information to help them grow and become better investors through the self-directed retirement vehicle. So there's not anything we can't technically work with, but for us, we push the 401k vehicle because that is the superior product for people looking to self-direct their investments into, things like real estate, so on and so forth.
Right. Okay. And that can be a Roth type 401k or they're traditional.
Yep. You can have Roth component as well.
Mm-hmm. You got that?
Yes.
Okay. And then you've mentioned it a couple of times, but just to be explicitly clear, as far as the custodian goes, I don't know if it's ever done the opposite way, but we have checkbook control over ours, right? So we either write the check, or as you said, we send the wire or whatever for any investments that we want to make. But I'm assuming you could nominate anyone to be your custodian, just like you could, I guess, as a 401k?
Yeah, so the 401k is built on a trust structure too. So retirement savings trust, that's like technically what it's called. So you could have trustees to that trust where they could sign off for you if you wanted them to. So you both could be trustees to your own plans and make signatures for each other's plans if you wanted to.
Yeah. Okay. I consider you the layperson main audience here. So is your head spinning?
No, I think I got it. I think I got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Other questions?
No.
Don't know what you don't know?
Yes.
Yeah.
Talk to us a little bit about the other aspects of, so you mentioned an educational component, networking, and the facilitation of opportunities as that. Tell us how that works, because I'm personally not familiar with those aspects of the eQRP system.
Yeah, so it's something we've just started, we've put a lot of work in the past 6 months to create. So we've built a community on Circle. And one cool thing that we've done is we've created a deal marketplace. So it's a place for 506c deals to be offered. Now, you can publicly market those, right? But the 506b deals, we're working on kind of creating an environment for people to network and come together and also be able to pitch those opportunities to our community as well. So
Yeah, those 5 or 6 P's, you have to have a pre-existing
Yep.
relationship. You have to be accredited typically.
Yep.
Yeah. Those kind of
Yeah.
things.
So those things are what we're really proud of, is that, because like I said, we want people to see as many opportunities as they can so they feel confident making the decision that makes the most sense for them. And so that component is going live this Friday, which we're really excited about. And maybe I'm time stamping this. I don't know when this is getting released.
It won't be before
Won't
the
be before.
Friday, June
Yeah.
1st that you're referencing. Or,
Yeah. So
May
if you're
31st.
listening to this, it's already live.
Yep.
But we're excited about that. And we really want this place to be altruistic in a sense, to where syndicators and investors can come together and win-win, because there's always going to be people looking to put their money to work, and we're always going to have deals that we're looking to raise money for. And so if we can help create an environment where we can help syndicators, raise money for great opportunities, and then also give investors a place for them to put their money to work, well, then we're doing our job, and we don't want to get in the way. We just want to facilitate the environment for them to be able to make that happen. And so it's just cool because people get to come in and ask questions. There's no bad question to ask when it comes to money, because you just may never know all the creative ways that money can work. And that's what's cool, is a lot of people just come in and have these aha moments. And so we're working on building a library of content for people to be able to come in, and we've got educational webinars that we host for people to talk about different opportunities, whether it be in, like, we'll just say hotels, right? Like nobody may understand what it's like to invest in a hotel syndication, but maybe they want to in the future if they come and they learn more about it, right?
Yeah.
I think now what's been really cool is watching our community get into the private lending space. And I feel like that pivot's happened because of, well, interest rates being as high as they are in the real estate market. They're like, all right, we want to kind of pump the brakes. We don't really want to lock up our money right now, not knowing what's happening in the future. But we like the terms and the flexibility of being able to put our money to work with maybe some of these rehabbers and flippers that can give me my money back at a 13% return in 8 months. Like, and that's a really hot thing right now. So a lot of different ways you can skin the cat, but if you don't know the questions to ask or see people asking the questions, well, it can be a limiter for you.
Yeah, it's brilliant. So you have like Fidelity and Schwab, and where you can go trade your stocks and bonds and things that are on the formal exchanges. I'm not personally aware of any type of venue or space where alternative investments can come and have their deals shopped. I don't know. Did you model this off of something, or was this fairly innovative to you guys?
I mean, you kind of end up where I don't know. It's weird when we look back and kind of see what we're doing, because we built a private equity company out of the eQRP because they were asking for more. So we have gone and, raised, a good bit of money from our community to be able to put to work in some of these other unique deals. But we're not chasing deals. So we've only done 5 to date in the past 4 years, and we're not looking to do any more in the near future because we have a really big project we've been working on. But they're always asking for more. So we're like, okay, well, we're very protective of our people. And we've always had people saying, or syndicators asking, hey, can we market to your people? Blah, blah, blah. And we're like, we just want to protect them. But now what we've seen is like, you know what? If we can control the environment and put and do some vetting of the people that are coming in first off, but then also say, hey, like, this is really meant for you to learn and grow in your investing acumen, then we can help them win because they're asking for it. So if our members are asking for more deals and more opportunities and we can't provide all of them, well, then we need to open our community up to more. And we're never going to take the position, and I'll die on this hill, and it makes me mad when I run into syndicators that are like this, but they're like, well, you're marketing to my investor. I'm like, they are not yours. Like, you're talking about like they're slaves. Like, it's
Right.
their money. Like, if they want,
we can go join 10 different mailing lists of
Yes.
different syndicators.
And so when I hear that, it really kind of like turns me off. But for us, we could care less if they invest with us or they invest with somebody else, as long as they get the thing that they want that gives them the most confidence, then we've done our job. So that's why we've opened up our community to see other people, and we want to bring more people in. So, you guys be a perfect fit, because to my knowledge right now, we don't have anybody talking about land inside of our community. Yeah. So it's a further conversation we need to have offline, but it's cool because I love how much is out there. And I'm a student. Like when I'm talking, I'm just like almost processing out loud because I'm learning at the same time. And, as I'm seeing these things, I'm like, man, I didn't know you could do that. Or the way that this thing was structured, I didn't know you could do that. But I'm also 33, so I still got a lot of life to live. I don't know what I don't know.
Yep. Green behind the ear, wet behind the ears still.
Yeah.
It's really brilliant. I mean, I'm also, my creative juices are flowing as well. Let's talk about this from the perspective of a syndicator or a private money lender or somebody. How do they plug into your community and get the exposure to the different investment dollars? How does that work?
Yeah. So really what we're doing is we're partnering with people. So there is an ask on some level because we know our value to the market when it comes to helping their communities understand what it means to move your money over, into a self-directed vehicle. Because we've raised the money ourselves, we know that these investors are going to look at this money a different way. So we want to be able to give them the confidence that they're making the right decision to, go put their money to work in these alternative investments. So let's look at it like this. If you are sending someone to us via referral, say, hey, they want to use their retirement money to invest in steel, cool. Well, when they come into the community, they're now going to get to see and have access to the other opportunities that are there. But you also know that all these other syndicators that are sending their people in, they're going to invest in their deal, are now going to have eyeballs at looking at your thing as well. And so that's what I'm saying, is creating this altruistic environment where people are so focused on the investor winning, because that's really who it's truly about. If we can help them win, then you'll win and we'll win, right? So that's what we've got going on. And for syndicators, it's really just reaching out to us because we want to put their deal on the platform, but we don't know who we don't know, and we don't know who has open funds. So that's what we're trying to do, is get out there. And it's a grassroots effort right now to say, hey, who has an open deal going on right now? We'd love to talk to you and kind of help you in your journey.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, it's capitalism at its roots, right? It's creating a frictionless, as frictionless as possible marketplace, and a bigger market, such that, if somebody's looking to invest in a multifamily deal, then you can compare different multifamily deals and decide which one you want, be it a more experienced management team or better returns, or the different elements that come into play and all of that, or any other type of vehicle.
Everybody's flavor is different because some people like different markets. Like some people like investing in the Midwest, some people like investing in the South.
Right.
So, but you got to give them the thing to look at. And if they don't have it, well, then, I don't know. Yeah. You got to give them a lot to look at. So that's what we want to do. And, if there's a lot of people like yourself, there's a ton of people out there raising money for different things, right? But if we all take this approach of giving our investors that control that they're looking for first, and then they get to put it to work. Well, now it's like, now I'm putting them in a place that I know they're going to get taken care of in perpetuity, to be able to have access to other things that otherwise they wouldn't know. So, we want to take care of that. I come from Chick-fil-A, right? So I want to create an amazing customer experience for our people. And, we're figuring it out one day at a time, and it's been a blessing. So it's good.
Yeah, that's great. That's what it's all about, right? Just getting your product or service out there, and then refining over time as you go. And that's the way to stay relevant.
And it seems like you guys created such a space where it's about the investors. It's not just about the syndicators, not just about the deals, but it's about the investors. And with that in mind, I feel like people would feel like you guys really care about where we put our money into.
Yeah. And, truly it comes down, it's just a cultural thing for us in a lot of ways, because I'm an investor, right? I'm putting my money to work, and I'm in a place where everything that I've learned, I've now gotten to apply because of this community. And so I take pride in it, right? And understand, I've lost money. My first couple deals, they went south, which fine. It's a good MBA, good learning lesson. But I'm glad, I'm glad that I took the step, and I wouldn't have done it any other way, because, you learn. And for us to be able to give people a place to be able to talk about those things and network with other people. And you never know what happens when you can connect people together and what, partnerships or opportunities can blossom out of that.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, I love what you've done. Maybe to close this out, like if people are interested in hearing more about eQRP or plugging into the investor community, the broader community, what's the best way to get in touch with you guys?
Yeah, just go to eQRP.com and schedule a time to talk with our team. It's the easiest way to do it. There's no real, we don't want to make it super easy for everybody to come in. Just like we want to be able to help filter and create a good space where there's relationships and networks happening. So go to eQRP.com, book a time with our team to talk with them. And that's the easiest way to get plugged in and started. Because if you're out there and you're sitting there thinking, well, I'd love to be able to take my money, and everybody's situation is different. So don't think that this is like a robotic system. Everybody's got their own financial state going on. So we get to really unpack what's happening in your life, where some of this money could be tied up, and then how we can get access to that to be able to put into some of these deals. So it all just starts with a call, and just go to eqrp.com and we'll help take care of you from there.
Okay, that's great. Yeah,
Awesome.
I can speak from experience. I mean, we set up ours. I don't remember if it was 2018 or 19. It was a very concierge type service. I mean, some people helped understand our situation, where we were rolling money from. I mean, that was our we came from corporate backgrounds and decided to be entrepreneurs, and we had this money just, it wasn't just sitting there, it was in the markets, but we wanted to be able to do our own things with it. And we got help with transfers, and I think somebody even some of my money was at TIAA, and they, we got on a 3-way phone call to make sure things got, whatever approvals needed to happen to,
we'll get that money out for you. We'll
that's the hard thing. Yeah.
Yes.
Retirement companies, they don't want your money leaving.
Yes.
Yeah. They make it really hard. And that's the sad thing, is that when you're trying to make this transition or pivot, the reality is the person that we find when we're talking to these custodians, like, these people are just reading a script. And when you go outside of the script, then they're like, wait, you can't do this. It's like, no, you can.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, you can't. So, we physically, like when we're on the phone talking with them, you almost kind of get into a verbal argument a little bit with them and being like, hey, can I just talk to your supervisor or somebody above? Because they just don't know how to deal with something like this existing. Therefore, they're like, it can't be done. But it's not the case. But that's why we're here, because most people that run into that, they end up just staying where they are, and they're just as frustrated, which, it's not what we're trying to do. So we take on all the brain damage that comes with that and make it really easy for people that are ready to go.
And beyond what you guys do, helping people moving the money, where they need to be, and helping them with all the setup. And I know that Damien will send us every single year for our birthdays. He would send like a voice, like a video message.
Yeah.
And I told Mike, I have never had such an amazing customer experience ever. He was just so nice. Every single year for the birthday, he would send us video messages, which was such a personal touch, beyond the service that you guys provide.
Yeah, it's fun. And, Damien's always been very much, I like to say, how can we be more human in a tech-driven world? We're headed, AI is a thing, and we're all looking for more efficiency, but let's not lose the human touch, because relationships are always going to be here until this world is gone. And without them, this world's definitely not a better off place. So,
and that extra special, nobody expects, but it's an extra special touch, which is very nice.
Yeah.
I'm expecting my message tomorrow, by the way.
Oh, you got a birthday tomorrow?
Yep.
Let's go. That's how old you are.
I'll be 55. I'm proud to say I'm a little long in the tooth, getting there anyway, but I still feel young and vital. So all good.
Hey, well, you look good. Both of y'all do. Y'all both look young and vibrant. So whatever y'all are doing, y'all just need to pass that down to me, because I've already lost all the, I used to have a full head of hair, I promise, but I don't know how it left. Maybe it's stress.
We feel young and vibrant. 2016 was our pivotal year. Similar to you, we found ourselves at a crossroads. We decided to go entrepreneurship. We were living in Dallas. We sold our house, moved to Colorado so we could enjoy the outdoors while we were, young and vital. And it's been a great move. And we love having control of our time and freedom,
Yes.
and we love having control of our investments in a QRP vehicle. So it's all been good so far. It's been a good ride. But man, Parker, thanks for coming on and explaining this. I mean, this is super intriguing. We're certainly going to be evangelizing some of this. I mean, we deal with a lot of syndicators and as you mentioned, private money and hard money is becoming more and more prevalent in a lot of these deals. Land deals are an amazing vehicle. We'll have to put our heads together about how to whether it's passive note investing or something like that. But yeah, a lot of opportunities there. I mean, really, I don't know that this is for everybody because some people just like set it and forget it in an index fund and let it go. But I think the majority of people like to have options and to be able to kind of put their money in whatever vehicle they want to and not be limited by a basket of funds or certain things. But yeah.
Well, I think being nimble is the name of the game. Like I think any great investor is always looking at their portfolio and reallocating based on what's happening. And if you don't have the tools available for you to do that, well, then you're kind of just stuck left hoping that it all works out for you. So putting your money in a vehicle like this and you're looking at what's happening and you say, you know what, I think I may want to start hedging in some gold and silver right now because I feel uncertain about what's happening. I mean, gold's up, 40% since October. It's wild, right? So what does that tell you, right? People are fearful. Yeah. That doesn't mean there's not opportunity on the other side, but most people that are sitting in index, they can buy the paper, but they don't have the physical thing.
Right.
So when you get the physical thing, and then if you feel confident, I'm going to go sell this gold and go do something else, having that nimbleness is important.
Yes.
Yeah, and the point you brought up earlier as well about having the opportunities easily in front of you is also important because you don't want the lost opportunity cost of having your money sitting in cash or whatever in between investments. And so it's great that you guys are trying to bring a marketplace together where different investments can be reviewed and also made fairly quickly. So great stuff.
Yeah.
Well, we end our episodes with gratitude. So we're certainly grateful for you coming on the show, but anyone or ones that have been particularly instrumental in your path and your journey that you'd like to give a special thank you to?
Man, that's good. I was reading this morning about thankfulness and gratefulness. I mean, thankful to Damien for giving me an opportunity, right? Never saw myself be in this position.
It's not what you dreamed of as a boy. I want to be a.
Well, I never saw myself in financial services. Nothing like this. But it's Damien. He's a unique individual, and he believes in people, and so I'm very grateful that he's given me an opportunity to showcase my skills and talents here and help people and really serve. And that's at the heart of what I love to do. And then my dad, I think, my dad and Damien are two completely separate people, but fundamentally I've learned so much from both. And my dad is he's 65, and he's got so much wisdom on just living life and walked a lot of really tumultuous roads, especially when it comes to finances. But that faith element of just understanding your resources that we have, we're just stewards. So something I like to say is just if we can't take it with us when we die, well, was it really ever yours to begin with? Therefore, if it's not ours to begin with, then what is the purpose of the things that we get? Then we should be able to, look at how we can help make an impact with other people. So, Damien has really amazing elements to him, and I'm so grateful for him in so many different ways and teaching me how to use money. And then my dad just really showing me growing up just the values of what money can do for you in and utilizing some specific sets to live a full life of joy. So
yeah, beautiful
Right, beautiful.
dichotomy there of cross sections of our society. So beautifully said. Well, thanks again, Parker. This is great. We'll certainly drop in the show notes where people can get in touch with you and the company. And all the best to you and what you're doing. We're big fans.
Well, thank you so much for having me on. It was a pleasure getting to meet you both, and happy early birthday.
Oh, thanks, man. We're going to have a good day. All right.
Thank
Take
you,
care, man.
Parker.
For those of you joining us today, we hope you enjoyed this time in the Champions Corner as much as we did. Got some awesome takeaways, and most importantly, will take action to continue living your best life and maximizing your potential. Mindset is such an important aspect of life, and when coupled with action, delivers undeniably powerful results.
Please subscribe to the podcast to hear from more great guests and get the latest mindset mastery insights and cash flow matchups.
Again, thank you so much for investing your time with us, and we look forward to seeing you next time on the Cash Flow Fight Club podcast.